Well, as you can see, everyone, I've been joined now by Vicky and Becky. How are you guys both doing?
I'm feeling a little bit not 100%, and I've got a big essay in next week, so I've had my head down at my desk, and I've got paper everywhere.
Similar. I've just searched through, I think, about 50 gift aid forms. So Fridays is my rainbow day bit, really. So I've just been doing that. But I'm doing good, yeah. Everyone's loving being at school at the moment, so that's great. And Steve's loving his new job. So brilliant.
Excellent. Well, I've been joined by them both because they have both, and in years past, I have read this book, Serving Without Sinking, by John Hindley. It's a book that talks about the same kind of things we've been dealing with in our sermon, particularly motivations around serving. Becky, how would you describe the book in a sentence or two, if you could?
I would say it's how we get it wrong. Essentially, the guy writing the book is really honest, and he says about how we can get it wrong, but how we can be getting it right, and we might think we're getting it wrong. So sometimes we think we're doing it right, and then we're doing it wrong, and then we think we're doing it. So it's how all of us are when we're serving. I think it sums us all up all the way through the book. Waffly, sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah, I think he's really excellent at highlighting the really subtle ways in which we get our motivations wrong with serving. And I think that the title is almost a bit misleading, because I don't really think that the book is about serving necessarily. I think it's about God's character, and when we understand God's character and what he's done for us in Jesus, that's where our serving comes from.
And the flip of it, of Jesus serving us, which was like a massive bit of the book about how, we are being served by him. And one of them was he's serving by leading us as our shepherd. And I was like, yeah, he serves us. You can imagine a shepherd leading his sheep and stuff. That's how he's serving them, isn't he? He's looking after them, he's making sure they get fed. And I think that was a big revelation in the book as well. Like, yeah, Jesus is serving us.
I think that's his main premise, isn't it? So he takes Mark 10 verse 45, which says, "For even the Son of Man did not come to be served by Becky Croucher." He came to serve Becky Croucher, and that's the main. And that, I think, we all know that verse. It's really famous, isn't it? But actually, it was such a revelation, as with for you, Vicky, for me as well. I was like, Jesus really does not need me to serve him. It is not why he came. He came to look after me, not the other way around.
Yeah.
So that's a long answer to your first question, John.
That's right. Particularly, what struck me is chapter 4 of the book talks about some of the kind of things we mentioned in the sermon, the wrong motivations we see of Simon in Acts 8, and serving to impress others, or serving in order to belong to the team, serving for others rather than serving for Jesus. The book does perk up after those opening couple of chapters, gives us some great positive motivations for serving. You've sort of touched on it already. I wonder if there are any particular parts that stood out to you, things that made you think, actually, that is a great reason. That is why I should serve at St. Matthew's.
For me, I think it really helped me to see that actually I don't need to serve, if that's kind of a slightly roundabout way of answering your question. I think the way that I would sum up the book really is that it is basically the most freeing book that I've ever read. Actually, he talks about how we don't need to serve, because Jesus has done it all already, and it's only from understanding that place that you can then go on to do things with joy. And I think that a lot of what he does is helping us understand our wrong motivations for serving, which make us feel really weighed down, and giving us kind of a vision of who God is that then helps us to respond with love and joy. And I think that for me that was the main help.
And I think one thing I've circled in that chapter 4, actually, I think it still is, it says about enjoying encouragement is fine. So it's okay, otherwise you end up sort of, I'm serving, but don't tell, and there is that element of don't tell everyone that what you're doing and shout it from the rooftops, but you can be encouraged, and that's good to feel encouraged, and that's fine. So it's that kind of fine all the time. I think it's that fine balance, isn't it? Like the other chapter, I've just written Vicky in the margin because it just says about don't let other people down, and and then I've been, since I've been working at Matthews loads of times, been reminded got to do his thing anyway. He doesn't need you to like bust a gut or whatever it is, you know. And he will do what he wants to do, either with you or without you. And he might not choose to use you in this situation and that situation. So I think, like you say, Becky, it is freeing because you just think you're not, again, it's not works. It's not works. It isn't works. But, you know, we're not saved by works, and nothing we ever do is ever going to be right or good enough, you know. So I do think it's really challenging, but I also think it's kind of like you say, free, like, whew, actually, that's brilliant. Oh, great. So I think it's really, and we've read it once, and then when I heard about the sermon, I said, oh, that book sounds like it'd be a really good one to mention. And so then, of course, you start diving in it again, and you're like, oh, I need to read this properly from the beginning. So I think I'll be diving in it from the beginning again now, John.
Wonderful. Apart from yourself then, Vicky and Becky, who would you particularly recommend this book for? I like, having read it, I can't think who I wouldn't recommend it for, so this is a tricky question.
Anyone that can read. Amelia picked it up this morning and she started reading the first chapter that's got like all these different characters and like the different situations they may have found themselves in while serving, and she's got the intonation and everything. I was like, Amelia, yeah, you got it. So I think as you become a member of, I think as you become a member of a church, you become fully committed to serving, like in that sense, because you've never really perhaps been fully committed yet. You start then you start traveling that knife edge, don't you? Of am I going to get it wrong? You know, and I think it's really healthy then to perhaps read this with someone else maybe and chat over what stands out or what you've underlined. But yeah, great book.
I think so. One of the things that he encourages people to do in the book is to take a step back from serving, if you have found that you've become a bit weighed down by it. To kind of take some time to reassess why you're doing it and whether it's a good idea to do it or not. And actually, during the pandemic, we've kind of, lots of us, perhaps not you guys on the staff team, but a lot of us have been forced to do that anyway. So I just wonder whether, as the restrictions ease now, whether this is a good time to kind of take the opportunity to think, okay, well, maybe I'm feeling a bit nervous about kind of things ramping up again, and I've quite enjoyed like having 2 mornings on it at the weekend to chill out rather than just the one, or you know, whatever it is that we've enjoyed about lockdown. And maybe now is a great time to just pick up this and think, okay, now things are going to start up. I don't want to get into a situation where I'm overtired or fed up, or you know, maybe I've never served in church before, but maybe I should, and you need to read this book. I just think it's a good opportunity now to kind of think, yeah, let's reassess things. Sorry, John. I just think that this is a book that is not, if you don't serve in any way at church or you don't think you do, I just feel like this is a book that is so important in terms of us understanding the gospel and how that should impact our lives. And I just think everybody, it's like the best book I've ever read, apart from the Bible. Honestly, it has been like life-changing, I think, for me.
So if you're interested in picking up a copy, I had a look. You can get one off 10ofthose.com for about £6 or £7. I've just noticed that Vicky and Becky both have a nicer cover than mine. Oh no, no. The same one. I think to get it now, you get the nice cover that Becky's got.
Yeah.
£6 or £7, or I haven't asked her, but if you speak to Yvonne, I'm sure the bookshop store will be able to get you a copy in. Thank you both very much. I've enjoyed this chat. I'm going to let you two go now. And we are going to sing our next hymn, Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty.